Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here. Welcome back to another Thursday live stream where, yes, we'll be covering the hot topics on Transformers Earth Wars as always, guys. So this week is no different than any other week in respects of that. If you've got any questions, anything at all, stick it in the chat. I'll try my best to answer it as much as I can. Don't feel free to ask questions as always, guys. But subject for today's stream. First off, I'm going to make an announcement about something coming soon. Not done one of these for a while, so going to be cool to do this. That's all I'll say for now. Then we talk about 5-star Titans. There's a lot of talk about, Metroplex versus Fort Max versus Arc and who to use and what setup and things like that. So we're going to try and sort of put that to bed, kind of, and have a conversation about that as well. We're talking about two bots, one bot that I use in my war team, and someone asked me an interesting question in our alliance chat about another bot and would I consider using that instead. And at first, off the bat, I was like, nah. And then when I looked into it, I thought maybe I should. So we're talking a bit about that as well. And then we're taking a look at life before the balance patch versus life now, and sort of ask if the balance patch has made the game better or not. It's a good 8 months now since the first balance patch. No doubt there'll be more. So we're talking a bit about that as well. And then we're talking a bit about HQ19. I've got a few details off Dale. I did sort of pester a bit for something towards it because I did put a thing out in my YouTube chat comments community thing, asking what would you guys like to see, and I had someone come back saying we'd like to hear a bit about HQ19. And although I covered it quite a while ago, I get that it's fresh on people's lips, and I get there's not much information out there, but people are really eager to for it to come and to see what it entails. So we're going to talking a bit about that as well. Cool. So yeah, let's have a look who we got in the chat first off. So we've got Candyman who was first. Congratulations, and congratulations on Ratbat. They've been fighting for quite a while. Then we've got Grind Time as well. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a mod. Say for Candyman, big thank you. We've got Soldier as well in the chat as well. Got his own YouTube channel, guys, for Earth Wars. Go and check that out. We've got Nate Williams. We've got Mr. Steeler. We've got Darklance as well. We've got Chris Harmon. We've got Ricky Lau. We've got Deshaun. We've got Andrea Khalil. We've got Giga08 as well. Thanks for joining. We've got Mate. We've got Spen0787. We've got, who else have we got? We've got my buddy Vic Ching. Good to see you, buddy. Should meet up again, I think, soon. Have a chat. If those that don't know, Vic Ching lives in Manchester near me. We've actually met already. It's in my community tab. Really cool guy. It was good to speak to him. We've got RG as well, and we've got who else? We've got Jason Rowley. We've got Jamie Captor. Thanks for being a member. Good to see you as well, buddy. And I think that is everyone. Cool. Right, let's start with the announcement. Before we go through the newsletter, we'll make this announcement anyway. So let's cut to it. I've arranged in about 2 weeks' time to do another interview with Dale, the community manager for Yodo 1, Transformers Earth Wars. So we've not done one of these in a while. I think the last one we did was just after the balance patch, maybe, or around then. So it'd be interesting. Obviously, we're talking a bit about that today. It'd be interesting to sort of ask him some questions about how he felt it's gone and their sort of take on where the game's going to go and things like that. And I always like his interviews. They're always like a good 2.5 hours long, so it is a bit of a long process. But I do enjoy them because we do get a bit of insight into the team's way of thinking, what we're doing, things like that. So that would be pretty cool. I think Callum might be joining as well. So that'll be Callum's first time on the stream as well. I've had a few other community managers and people that have helped with the community in the past, but it'd be a first for Callum. Obviously I met Callum. I went to TF Nation. Cool guy. It was first time meeting Dale as well. So yeah, we are going to be organising that. So debating what to do. I might make it a subscriber only stream, maybe. Might make it so that members can only comment, maybe. Don't know yet, but want to sort of like, I've been thinking about how I can, again, give something back to the members by doing these things. I know some people might think it's a bit frustrating, but subscribing is that easy. Just hit the subscribe button. You can still watch the stream, but want to give something back to my members for supporting me. So maybe it's that. I've not decided exactly yet what we're going to be doing. But I think if there's any restrictions on watching it, it would be subscribers only at the worst. But comments might be for members, maybe, or maybe pre-comments. I don't know yet. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool to have Dale and Callum on stream. Excited for that. Cool. Like I said, it'd be about 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that. It'll be on a Sunday, I think. Obviously Sunday afternoon because Jacob has his football, so it'd be well, I say Sunday afternoon for me. It'd be Sunday morning for most in the USA. I suspect probably around 9, 10 in the morning, I think. Something like that, maybe. Maybe a bit later. But yeah, it'd be morning time after the early afternoon, yeah. Cool. Alright, let's go straight into the newsletter and take a look. So, Barbie Grana Weep Ninny Bong. This weekend's event is called The Heat Is On. Season 50, week 1. I mean, it wasn't week 1, but it is week 1 now because the sagas went. Bit about that later as well. Forgot to mention as well, I think the other week that I've officially reached 10 years in the game. That's quite scary that we've reached 10 years. But I think this year is the 10th year celebration, so going to be interesting to see what happens with that. What they're going to do for 10 years, because normally they get like a 5-star bot out. So what they're going to do for that, I don't know. Interesting. Where do you go from 5-star bots? Do they just give everyone a 6-star bot? I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. This weekend's event, though, is an individual totalizer for the new combats, Sundor or Ratbat. We are going to try and take a bit of a look at them at the end of the stream. Just a quick look. We've gone through them already. But we'll take another look at them anyway. I think they're ready to go now. I've already given my my review on them, so you can go and check that out. But this weekend's event is 50,000 points for the 4-star, 75,000 for the 5-star, and 100,000 points for a binary bonding element. So I'm gonna get my brew here because this is where I'm gonna maybe not a rant, but a bit of a break. So the way I look at these events is that the top prize should be something that you think, oh, I need that. It's well worth doing extra points for. So think about the 4-star Sundor or Ratbat and the 5-star version. There's a big difference between the 4-star and 5-star version. Now you can probably do free to play for 50k because it is Mayhem. So you can probably do that. Some people will tell you 75k is available free to play. I mean, without the battle pass, I don't think it is. So is that really free to play? I mean, people have different ideas of free to play. Some people think it's just completely free to play, which I kind of get. Some people think, oh, but with the side pass you can get it. I'm not buying cells, but it's not really free to play, is it? But I get most people will buy the side pass. But 50,000 is doable, free to play. 75,000, maybe a bit of spending, whatever. So 25,000 points difference. So for an extra 25,000 points, you can get a binary bonding element. But they're already in the store, in the shard store. You can already get them for free by trading shards in. So I don't think binary bonding elements now are that desirable, personally. I think they're good, but I don't think they're that good a prize where they're worth 100,000 points. And this again reminds me of the major ranks where they put them at like, a silly cost, silly points, and go, oh yeah, you can get a major skip. And I'm like, well, major skips aren't all that. And it worries me that I thought that in terms of bundles in the store, in the web store and in the game, that we turned around a corner. We're getting better value bundles. And I thought, you know what? I think the team are realizing now what is valuable and what isn't. We saw them get rid of the old Golden Lagoon bundles because well, no one uses Golden Lagoon anymore, and they've tied them in with other stuff now, which makes them a bit more relevant, and the bundles seem a bit better organized. But then I see things like this, and then I thought, well, no, for me, I would personally put the binary bonding element at like 60,000 points, or maybe push the 5-star to 80,000 points. I know people don't want to hear that, but I would probably do 40, 60, 80. 40,000 for the 4-star, 60,000 for the binary bonding, and 80,000 for the 5-star. I don't mind pushing the 5-star up a bit. If you're going to push the 4-star down a bit and put the binary bonding element in there. For me, binary bonding elements are for mid-tier players. That's who they're geared towards. Now, I still think mid-tier players will do 75,000 points. I don't think it's like a, an elite, points tally. I don't think it is. I think if that was 120k, that's elite. That's where you're going to the top players doing 120k pretty much. So 100k for binary bonding element, I think they've got that kind of wrong. But other prizes are 200 premium combat chips, 150,000 premium crystal shards, that's 150 prems. These prems are going through the roof now. And the amount of cores we're getting from this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm having to all the time think of my cores, use my cores, so I'm not maxing out. Then we've got 12,000 3-star shards, 6,000 4-star shards, and 2,000 5-star combat shards. Do you remember the old events where it was 1,000 shards for 5-star? It was 2,500 4-star shards. These events are going a lot higher in what they're giving away. And again, it kind of worries me that if we're giving 5-star and 4-star shards away like candy, which I think they are right now, if I'm honest with you, then where do we go from there? I don't know. We've got some binary crystals as well, and we've got some spark, which is great, some combat spark. And again, remember the events where we're getting 200k combat spark? Now we're getting 1 million. Again, just the amount of stuff we're putting in events has gone through the roof. And I think we're just getting to a point where things are not valuable anymore. And although I understand making some things less valuable over time, and I'm all for that, it's when they bring out the new stuff and then put that behind a super paywall. I think there's somewhere in between. Some things should be massive out of reach and other things absolutely abundant of. Some things should be slightly out of reach and then everything else given in a normal supply. But hey, what do I know? So yeah, as you can see there, all the prizes scattered throughout. Normal battle zones apply. I still don't think they got this right. I think as a new player, you look at this, and if you battle in Mayhem mode, you get 320 points, but you don't if you use triple the cells. I think that needs putting in another column of having normal points and then having battle points, Mayhem 5 cells, battle points, Mayhem 15 cells. That would make more sense to me. Game updates and information. So they put a bit of teaser in the Discord about the new bot. Everyone was throwing things around, but it's been announced now that it is Sideways. So Sideways is both an Autobot and Decepticon. A bit like Impactor and Punch in a way. The only difference is he has a different head. So you can see there, and see there. Look at the head especially. Look at Decepticon there, you can see that it's a different head. It's changed, and same on the vehicle as well. So yeah, that's the only pretty much difference, I think. Could be wrong, but yeah, that's pretty much it, just the head changes. I think that in the toy line might be a headmaster maybe. Could be wrong, but you change the head basically and it determines whether they're not Autobot or Decepticon. So yeah. Good brew. Okay. Sundome Rat Bar, we've gone through again. We'll have a look later at the end of the stream. New side pass skins, talk about them next week. Don't like that. Do like that. Then we've got the side pass. What do you think of side pass this month? Let me know in the comments. I still miss the skips. I think the skip's really good. I know it got a bit of a backlash, but I don't know why they can't put the skips in there as well. I wouldn't even mind if they extended the side pass a bit and they put skips in. I just think that one total spark crystal is pretty awful. If you go from 3,000 points to 6,000 points, you get about 20 total spark crystals, which is pretty rubbish. I'd rather than put 20 skips in there, if I'm honest with you. And I might actually think, you know what, I might actually go for this actually and actually compete in the side pass a bit more. But I just think they need to add some more skips back in there again. I don't mind the building skips and all that. They'll be good for HQ19 and stuff. And I don't mind the shards and the spark. As always, people will always need them things. But I don't know. I miss the spark. I miss the skips. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the pass? But the good thing about this pass is that they've changed 31 days. I don't know how this is going to work. So it's 31-day pass to coincide with the saga. But then February only has 28 days in it. So will the next pass be 28 days? If it's 31, then it's going to break into the next week. And I'm not sure how that's going to work. Bit of a strange one. I understand their decision. Because it'll go with, every month it's a new pass. Rather than 4 weeks, I think. Don't know. I'll have to see how it works. Bundle deals, got a total soulless bundle, doesn't go into inventory. When they said that, I was like, what the hell are you on about? But I think what they mean is that if you're maxed out on Solar Spark, Cybertron Ally, and 4 Solar Shards, you'll lose it, basically. But I don't know. No one's at that point now where they're going to be maxed out on Solar Spark and Cybertron Alloy and 4 Solar Shards. So I don't think it's really relevant as such. But when that got announced, I was like, what? What do you mean it won't go in inventory? Then I was like, right, I kind of get what you mean now. Like Spark, it was going to your Spark. So, but yeah, but when I looked into it, it's very expensive. After the buy it, I thought, oh great, I could do with some, Solar Spark and things like that, and some Cybertron Ally and stuff like that a few weeks back. And then when I looked into it, it worked out at like $10-20 for like one rank. And I was like, yeah, no thanks, I'm not gonna bother. Then we've got SG Ratchet and Senator Shockwave skins available for a limited time. So you get the guaranteed 4-star bots, the guaranteed G1 cores, and character shards as well. I don't mind this. I understand some players will want the skins. I understand newer players might not have them and want them. So I don't mind it. I don't mind things in the store where it gives something, to newer players where they can get something quicker and get some exclusive items. I understand that some people like them things. Not for me, but I understand that. Then we've got 5-star Sunder and Rat Bar available in the store as always. And then we've got for the crystal shop, we've got binary crystals where you've got 1% out of binary bonding element. Again, really slim chance, so I wouldn't really bother, guys. Don't waste your money on them. Then we've got the saga schedule, and like I said, it's a bit of a strange one. So the thing I don't like about this is how many hard events there is. So we had a conversation a while back. It was a while back. It was a couple of years ago about players getting, burnt out with events. And then I remember talking about when the game was first developed about the cadence of events going from, I think it was easy event, medium event, easy event, hard event, back to easy again, and sort of forcing people to take a break so they don't get burnt out. It looks like they've completely thrown that out the window. It's not a consideration anymore. And literally now we're going hard, easy, hard, easy, hard, easy, hard, medium, hard. Has Mayhem done this? Because most of the events are Mayhem nowadays, especially the harder ones. Maybe. Does that mean it's a hard event because it's Mayhem? I don't know. But if we look at the points tallies, we've got... Let's just zoom in a minute. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Let me try and get this on a minute. I'm trying to get it so that I'm like... Give me a second. Hope you can see that, I think. I can sort again in a minute. So we've got 75,000 points for a 5-star combat. I know it's just 100,000 for buying a bond element, but let's just talk about the main prize. So we've got 75,000 this week. Is that hard? I don't know. Maybe it's medium. And then we've got 70,000 for 5-star punch. Is that hard? I don't know. Maybe medium. Then we've got 3,500 for the 5-star bot. Again, forget the major rank. No one wants that. We've got 3.5 million, sorry, for the 5-star bot, which is, I think that's around the same, really. It's around 87k, I think it is, per player. I would say that is hard. Then we've got 70k for Raiden and Dino King. And then we've got, again, we've got a 4 million totalizer for the Prime and Artifacts. It was like last time, I think the Prime and Artifacts wasn't right at the end of the event, but it's about 100k again. So they're not easy. They're hard to medium events, all of them. But I just think that they're just pushing a bit too much. I don't know what's changed. What's changed? So they have to think that, oh well, people aren't as, aren't going to get burnt out. Is that the case? I don't know. I don't think anything has changed in that sense. I still think people will get burnt out by too many big events, but we'll have to wait and see. Is this from player feedback? Do people want more bigger events? Is it just a case that big events have got easier and so big events are not big events anymore? I don't know. They can go and check out your content creators, obviously myself, Freesia, Soldier, and CF. And as usual, no team stream. I think it'd be a while since we see a new team stream, I think. Sell what you guys are saying. Oh, Grand Times, but make sure it isn't Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, you need to tell them because we haven't got a clue over here. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday when the Americans say to me, oh, it's Super Bowl Sunday this Sunday. Because it's not, nah. It's nothing over here, honestly. Second off, the last but asked them why nobody posts on their Facebook page. I think they have plans to get that revitalized again, I think. Grand Times, but for the 10-year anniversary, they need to give everyone 10 5-star bots. Yeah, it's not happening. Darklands reckons a 5-star bot, a 5-star combat, BB, and rank skips. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Grind time. How about 10k coins for the 10-year anniversary? I know, no way. Yeah, you say that though, but I don't think 10k coins is like ridiculous, though, is it really? Or thereabouts. Yeah, Darklands says, but major rank skip is not worth 100k. BB is not worth 100k. I agree. They'll probably give us 10 premium crystals. Come on, they're not that bad. They're not that stingy. It's not as bad as it used to be. Josh Blinkett's bot. I'm going to fall out for a adorable little runt of a combat bot. Yeah, I'm not on its. I'm not on its radar of going for it. I don't think. That answers bot. I think I have 6,500 prem crystals in bridge and 1,500 worth of shards. Yeah, I've got like 3,000 prems, I think, or something. That's something stupid. Yeah. That answers, but yeah, 1,000 4-star shards back in the day. Used to take me 2 days to get 10k. Yeah, it was hard back in the day. It was. And Sharks Sport, remember those events back in the day where the main prize was a 4-star crystal at 250k points? I know, these new players don't understand how easy they got it, honestly. They don't understand. Berserk's put the side pass should include all the items we've had on rotation every month. Yeah, well, I don't mind if 1 month it changes. I don't mind them going, alright, this month we're going to do this month we're going to give that. I don't mind that. But last month they took away the skips. I was like, right, okay, I get it. It'll probably come back next month, and then it didn't. That's a problem. Sharks, but do you see that there is new side pass quests? No, I didn't see. No, I'll have to have a look. Berserk put the skips, training and ability are the main reason for side pass after cells. Yeah, well, I don't really need anything right now. Literally anything. Um, Maybe 5-star shards for a couple of my bots, take them to general. But I'm pretty set. I'm scoring 300s consistently in wars. And I mean by consistent, I mean I've not dropped a single point since August, I think it is. I don't think you'll find many players on that sort of level, really. Not many, anyway. Um, and it's a point where my team is set, my team is well leveled. I don't max them out because I don't want to keep playing with them and I'm not getting XP. So I don't believe in spending money to max them out and then not getting any XP for the next whatever um, months, years, even maybe. So I like to get them to 68, 69 and then play with them and then they naturally max out. I mean, I do have some max bots, but I haven't maxed them out intentionally. The only time I max a bot out intentionally is if it does a certain amount of damage and it needs to be level 70 to do that. And I think that when we come to balancing bots, I feel like that's an avenue which they've missed because most bots can do it at like level 67 or something, and so you don't need to max it out. Where personally, I think you should have to max it out for it to be relevant at the highest levels. But I don't have many maxed out bots, so I think I've got like 7 or 8. I think maxed out. I think, but literally on my war team, only one of my war team bots is maxed. So, um, um, yeah, Sharks is put score 50,000 raid points. Well, I won't be doing that, considering no one can do it for 2 weeks. At least it's there though. Um, yeah, Darkness has put still no point in using Universal Spark. 5 to 1. I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. When you put it in the chat last week, I was like, "Is it really 5 to 1?" And I went and checked, and it is. It is 5 to 1, which is ridiculous. Um, what else? So look. Yeah, Blade 19. Welcome to the stream. Got a really good point there. Sometimes when I wake up, raid's already done. I don't get a chance. Valid point. Valid point. Um, Michael Cooper's welcome to the stream report. They could have moved the fuel cell boost for the event. One step forward, one step back. Did they move it back? I don't know. I've not looked. What else? Mattis, but if they weren't still having to push out Raiden and Dino King events overlapping with Prime ones, it would look a bit better. Yeah, maybe. Berserk Sport, hey, was it you mentioned Mirage Date before, and I remember you watched G1 with him. This year's Beast Wars is 30. How about a series watch? It's free on YouTube. I've never been a fan of Beast Wars. Never been a fan. Um, like I said, when I watched G1, it was because he was a baby, really young. I was always been a big Transformers fan before that. I think my Transformers, I've become more of a Transformers fan as this game has coincided with that. That makes sense. This game's made me more of a Transformers fan. I think I've learned a lot more about Transformers from playing this game than I ever did as a kid watching the cartoons, reading the comics, things like that. But I've never been a Beast Wars fan. It's more nostalgia for the G1 series more than anything. Because I remember watching it when I was a kid. So I don't know. I don't really watch much telly. I'm a bit of a film buff, so I've also watched all the Transformers films. But I watched Transformers One again the other week with my daughter. She was asking about it, so I said, "Come on, let's watch it." So kind of watched that. So yeah, I'm not a series person. I can literally put on two hands how many series in my life I've actually watched for the entirety and started watching it from start to end. And usually, if it is a series I watch, it's things like game shows and things like that. I'm currently watching Traitors, you're watching trailers, let me know. I've been watching them all. I've been watching the UK ones, watched the Australian one, watched the American one, currently watching the Canada one. So, trailers is cool. Played it in work over Christmas. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I watched some comedies and stuff like that, series. But I'm not one of these that goes and watches like Netflix series and watches it all throughout. And it's even like when the Transformers Mishima cartoons kind of came out. I just waited till they're on YouTube and just watched them all. I hate where you watch something and it leaves you in suspense, and then you go, "All right, well, I've got to wait till next week again." That annoys me a bit. So I know Traitors does that, but I'm not a fan of it. Anyway, um, Stephen Gomez as well. Welcome to the stream. But instead of releasing new bots one at a time, any chance of releasing a batch of 5 or 6? To give us something to chase. What do you mean? Do you mean in terms of new bots? I mean, let's be honest. They can't get one bot done in 4 weeks. Never mind getting 4 or 5 done. Let's be realistic. If they start getting 5 out, it'd be absolute trash. So, no. If you mean in terms of legacy bots, then why would you just do 5 when you can do one at a time? And if you did 5, by the end of the year, we'd have no more legacy bots. So, I don't know where that's going to go. But I did obviously do a video last year about 5-star batches and how they're coming and how it's going to be quite tricky. And it is getting to that point now. There's not many 4 stars now that are not 5 stars. We're running out. And so it's going to be interesting. Like, legacy events will be no more when we run out of bots. 5-star batches will be no more when we run out of bots. Because if we run out of legacy bots and we run out of bots to make 5 stars, then how will batches work? If we do it every time we get a new bot, there's a new bot every 2 months. That means we get one 5-star batch a year every 10 months. How many 5-star shards will we have at that point? More than 25,000. So I don't know where the economy is going to go long term. That's going to be a question for Dale, definitely. I don't know what's going to happen with that. It's going to be interesting. Matty, what's the reason behind so many solo events? The reason is there's a lot of complaints about us having to organise people for big events. And it takes a lot of hard work, and everyone was like, you know, it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and things change very quickly, and people get frustrated and stuff like that. So, I understand the solo events means that you're not dependent on other people, and you're not falling out with people in alliances and stuff like that. But it's becoming more of a solo game than a team game. I mean, the team are looking at solo wars, so obviously that makes it more individual. When you do raids, I don't feel like you work together in raids. You just go and do your attack, and then someone else jumps in, or you just finish it off yourself again, another attack. So I don't feel there's any teamwork in that. I don't feel like there's any teamwork in wars, really. You do your bit, and it's just a case of everyone doing their bit rather than everyone helping each other. You can't jump in and help and finish off things, stuff like that. So the game is a lot more solo than people think. It's a lot more individual. There's not much team aspect to it. It's just a matter of everyone doing their bit to help. So, I've played other games where they're a lot more involved in that sense, where you have to help each other. And I did come up with a bit of a game mode that I had an idea for, and it was around that, and it was all about getting people to help each other and communicate. And I think there needs to be more of that, because most alliance chats the one that I've seen in Sai is a lot quieter than what it used to be, because you don't need to communicate. Because if you can come into war and do well, and you can come and do your points, why would you ever need to talk? I mean, people do. People enjoy talking. I get that. But why would you need to? There's no communication needed in the game. London's Corners put, do batches like they do with combats? Yeah, but again, there'll only be 5 or 6 per year. So, yeah. Grand Test Sport, oh, come on, you know as well as I do that the Yodos have never thought about economy that in depth ever. What you just said is going to happen, and they will act like it caught them by surprise. Yeah, that's the issue though as well. Is this happen? These things do happen. They go, oh right, oh my god, and it creeps up on them in a way like, surely they should be able to see if they keep going the way they are, how it's going to work out, and work out something what they're going to do. Surely. Blade 19 spot revenue got swallowed up by a black hole since the patch, and now they just keep grabbing, trying to get as much as possible. I don't know about that. Maybe I don't know. I don't think that revenue's down by as much as you think. Maybe I think it is down, but not as much as you think. I think, yeah. Dart sport. If I was to use my 7 attacks for raids, I'd clear 7 of the 16 bases. Yeah, I know. But what do you do with it? What do you do? You know, do you make raids more difficult again? And maybe frustrate the player base? Yeah. Don't know. Cool. All right, let's go into the game. Cool. So, make sure we're all set. Yeah, cool. So, a lot of talk in my alliance chat was around, should you use Metroplex? Should you use Arc? Should you use Fort Max? Who's going to win the battle? Who wins who? What setup have you got? So on, so on. So, my response to this was, it doesn't matter. Because Titans have got that much HP that the battle for Titans lasts so long that what I would do is, rather than worry about getting the next 5-star Titan, getting 5-star Fortress Maximus or 5-star Arc, I would just go and get a 5-star Titan. That's it. So if you've not got any 5-star Titan, yeah, I think Arc might pip everyone. I think maybe go for Arc, maybe Fort Max. But if you've already got Metroplex, I don't think you need Arc. I don't think you need Fort Max. I think that using the shard for that is a bit of FOMO, in the sense that what I would rather you do, guys, is rather than spend your shards on getting the next Titan, spend your shards on ranking up your bots. Spend your money, rather than buying bundles for these, spend your money on leveling your bots. If you can finish a war battle in 2.5, 3 minutes, the Titan's irrelevant. Most of the times where my Titan loses, and it does most of the time, it's already over. I'm at the HQ, and the Titan can do whatever damage it wants, but I've got 8 bots on the field hitting the HQ. You need to take out a bot randomly, I'm still gonna win, no matter what. So don't get too much FOMO, and worry about getting the next Titan. Worry about finishing your war attacks quickly, getting through bases faster. And this is my setup for Metroplex that I use. It does well, don't get me wrong. But I use all his abilities, all of them, on the base. I don't use any abilities on the opposite Titan. And it usually lasts around 2.5 minutes. It's very rare it finishes before that. So you can use your Titan to help you take out build bots, to help you take out the shield gen, help with your combiner, sort of take out certain defenses, and yeah, just speed your bots up, guys. Get your bots leveled, get more DPS into your team, get through the base faster, and you don't need 5-star Fort Max. You don't need 5-star Arc if you've already got 5-star Metroplex. So try and change the way you're thinking. Don't worry too much about Titans. You need a 5-star Titan. You don't need 3. And give this setup a go for Metroplex. Go and try him in war. See how he goes against other Titans, and can you get through the base faster? And I think you'll find that you have some decent results without spending those shards unnecessarily on other Titans. Give it a go, guys, and let me know what you think. Yeah, Grand Transport, like the holograms that Fort Max produces, distracts the outpost bots. Not really, I'm honest with you, a bit, but not much. Like I said, I'm more than happy with 5-star Metroplex. I'll show you here on my live account. This is the funny part as well. Mine's 24. I didn't realise. So it's not even maxed. Level 22 arc, level 21 Fort Max. I've not even bothered leveling him because this guy does it all. Don't even need him. Next up. Have I got this bot even leveled, actually? I don't even think I've got this bot, actually, maybe. Yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah, cool. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? So, a lot of the ideas from my videos come from talking with Alliance members about strategies. Should I do this? Should I do that? Who should I use? What's the setup? Things like that. And I always think that if, some of the top players in the game are asking these questions, then surely some lower down players are asking the same questions as well, or be interested in that. And so one question got brought up on a certain bot. I'll let you guys try and guess it as always while I'm talking. And they said, why does this bot not get used that much? And I said, oh, that bot, they're a bit weak, really. They're not very good. I thought about it. Sorry. I thought about it for a while. My friend Tex used to use it. But then I was never a big fan, really. I've not even pulled it as a 5-star. I've not bothered at all. And they were saying, why? The stats are really good. So, pulled up the stats. I was like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah. So, what I thought, that's not the case. And then I thought, okay, well, it's a decent cost compared to the bot I use. I was like, well, yeah, well, maybe it's that it doesn't do this. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, it does do that. I'm like, well, why have I never liked this bot? Why have I never bothered to try and even get this bot? And I had to have a careful think. And I was there scrutinizing it, thinking, I don't get it. And so the bot I'm talking about is an alternative to Rook. So I use Rook a lot in my war team. I've used Rook for easy 5 years consistently. Very rarely left my team. I've tried taking him out occasionally and my scores go backwards, and so he just goes straight back in again. And I've kind of decided that Rook's a mainstay in my team no matter what. So Rook places a decoy with 65% of his health. So that works out at around 25k, 30k, around that sort of health. Taunts defenses, when it explodes, does 6k damage. That's a decent amount of damage. Then grants a 50% damage reduction shield for 6 seconds. One decoy at a time. And then every 10 seconds does a bit of acid, but that's kind of irrelevant. So, for 5 ability points, it's quite costly. So if I can find another bot that does that, and I can do it for less ability points, then why not? And that other bot is RC. Hang on. Spoke too soon. Sorry, guys. Should have better prepared than this, really. I'm going to run out of spark out, I think. But I think Callum sent me some more. I think Callum sent me some. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Callum. It's fine. It's only the test server. I need some dead energy. Ugh. We need more than 200k, I think. Right, okay. Apologies, guys. Apologies, I'm sorry. Apologies for killing the vibe. There we go. Let's try again. And that bot is RC. So, place a decoy that has 80% of your health. Now, granted, she has less health, but 80% still ranks at around 30k. Still a decent amount of health for the hollow. And disable defenses hit for 3 seconds. Decoy explodes upon death, disabling targets in a large area for 10 seconds. Only one decoy can be active at a time. So I think the first thing to look at is that I think RC has a lot less in her arsenal than Rook. But Rook is 5 ability points. So if you can use RC for 3 ability points, then surely the primary use is for Rook to pop outposts for 5 ability points. Forget the damage, forget the acid flamethrower, forget anything else, even forget the shield that it gets maybe. Don't know. It's still 5 ability points to pop outposts where you could probably put 3. So the big question is, why are people not using RC more than Rook? Or at least as much as Rook? I think there is an element to having a bit less in her arsenal than Rook. I think even a bit of it might be that she doesn't have that shield that protects her. But I think it's a number of things that makes RC not as good as Rook and not as relevant. I think one is the fact she doesn't have any shield at all. So when you use Rook, he gets a shield which protects him. Rook's already got more health as well than RC, and I've always said that I want my front line bots to do their job, and that is to protect my team by having high HP. So I don't understand having a warrior that's there to protect my bots having lower health. But even then, if she can stay behind the likes of pipes, then she shouldn't take as many hits, so it's not as big an issue. But then that's where the problem lies. That if you look at Rook carefully, and he has a speed of 1.7, and this is where we talk about certain bots. Now, Pipes has a speed of 1.8. Now, in my team, Pipes goes ahead, Rook stays behind a bit, especially with his passive, and sort of catches up, and so Pipes takes the hits, and he's got a better shield. It works in tandem. People talk about other bots, such as, if I can find her, she's got to be higher than that. Oh. Such as Rust Dust, having a speed of 3. And they go, yeah, she's great, but she's suicidal because she's so quick. We talk about other scouts. We talk about Braun being suicidal because he has a speed of 2.6. We talk about B being suicidal because he has a speed of 2.7. All these scouts, the problem is they're too quick. They run ahead, they take the hits, and the warriors can't catch up fast enough. And so a big problem of RC is that she has a speed of 2.4. So no matter what other bots you've got in your team, no matter what other warriors you've got, she is going to walk ahead and take the hits. And with a health of 35k, she's not really got the HP to help her. And so the big question is, what can the apes do in the future to make RC more relevant? So I think that in terms of ability, for 3 ability points, the fact it doesn't do damage, I think that's quite relevant. 3 to 5, it is 6k damage, it's a lot of damage. So 3 to 5, I think it's warranted, giving her 3 to 5 if she has the same ability. I think she needs a shield. I think she needs more HP, and I think she needs to be slowed down as well. I think she needs the whole 3 points. Because as she is, she's going to melt really quickly. It's such a shame. Because I literally sat there after reading the ability going, she could be pretty good. And if I can use another bot and save points on my team, I can see value in that. 3 points rather than 5, come HU19, I'm going to try and save all the points I can for damage. So if I can replace Rook with RC and just have her popping outposts, forget the damage, forget anything else, just doing that job that I need that bot to do, I can save them 2 points, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's a difference sometimes between using another ability to take out some defenses and not. It might be an extra healing bomb, it might be something that can help your team. So I'm interested to see what the apes might do with her, because I think that she really needs a big buff right now. I don't think she's very good at all, which is such a shame, because by first reading the ability, I think it's actually pretty decent. So let me know what you guys think. Would you like to see a buff to RC? Would you like her to see her, her day in the sun in terms of the meta? And what would you guys do? Do you actually even like the speed? Do you like the way she works? Do you like the fact that she's fast and she can get ahead and she can use her ability, getting up close and pop from maybe a same range as Rook or better because she's actually getting ahead of your team? Let me know what you guys think. Um, so well done, Dartlands, for getting it right. And Dartlands has put, I did take her to 11 recently. Yeah, I'm taking every bot to 11 now recently because, yeah, I just can. Grind time. You guys can't see him, but I'm dancing to entertain you. Wow, he levels RC. Dartlands, Rook is a higher rank and level at the minute for my war team. Dartlands, her G1 gives her a life boost and a dodge. Well, I don't like the dodge on any bot. I don't like scouts doing it either. We'll do some scrolling while we're talking, no more. See. What is the best batch right now? Let me have a look at RC's G1 now. I've got it. And we'll have a bit of a look. It depends. See, it's very subjective which is the best batch because it depends on what you've got. If you've got loads of warriors, then why would you want to go for a batch which has the best warriors in it? If you've got loads of gunners, then why would you want to go for a batch that has the best gunners in it when you've already got some of the best? So it all depends on what you need. I mean, sometimes it's very easy for us top players to look at it and go, yeah, you should get this box. It is the best in the game. But sometimes players don't want bots for wars. Sometimes they want them just to using events to level other bots. So it does depend on what you're using the bots for. So I would say Hugo Esto, I think it is. Put in the chat what you want the bot to do. What do you need? Do you need a bot for just to protect your team or warrior? Do you need a healer? Do you need a good damage dealer? Do you need a bot for leveling? What do you actually need? What is the primary thing you need? Yeah, Dark Answers put her speed won't be an issue with more HPS and a shield. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But again, I also don't want to do this. Oh, give it a shield. That should be the worst quote in Transformers Earthworld's history. The amount of times in playtests I heard, just give it a shield. Yeah, just give everything a shield. If something's struggling, if something's rubbish, just give it a shield. Dead simple. Just give it a shield. Yeah, Darklands, I did pass this on to the team. Obviously, Callum was here last week in the stream. We talked about quality of life fixes, and that's what I said. A scroll bar, without a doubt, that's my biggest one. I hate it. I hate leveling things for this reason. Mattis put, do they have the same cast range? Let's have a look. But even then, if I don't think RC has, but even if RC has a better cast range, I still wouldn't. Let's take them side by side and have a look though. Rook, RC. Yeah, same cast range. I mean, RC's obviously a bit behind Rook. But you can see it going ahead there already, look. But yeah, same cast range as well. Good to know. Dinobot. There's another one. I don't like Dinobot. Not a big fan. Not a big fan, personally. Cool. Okay, back to my actual account. And obviously, next subject about how the game has gone since before the balance patch to now. So, when the balance patch was announced, it came with a lot of skepticism around if it would work or not. And after the first balance patch, we lost a lot of players in the game. We weren't happy that certain investments weren't as good anymore, that things had invested had got taken away. And I understand people's concept around that. And I think that the problem is that I think balance changes should have been here a long, long, long time ago, many, many years ago. I think it should have come into the game maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but it was left too late. And so, first off, I wanted to cast your mind back to time before the balance patch when I feel like everyone had the same setup pretty much for wars, and everyone had the same things on defense. And I'm talking things like Beachcomber was an absolute disaster of a bot. Almost made me sort of quit the game. How ridiculous it was. You had top players saying, "Yeah, defend it. Yeah, keep it because it's difficult," but it just got absolutely silly. And so Beachcomber definitely needed some sort of fix. Then we had Titans. It was the point where you needed Arc. If you didn't have Arc, you were struggling. And so they've changed that again. As we saw, I spoke earlier that you don't need Arc anymore. Um, and then we had some really overpowered bots in sort of Leo Prime and in terms of Optimal Optimus and bots like that. And then we fast forward to now and what's changed. So I do think the biggest change for me, the biggest positive, is combiners. Now I know that a lot of people did not like the Ruination nerf, and I understand that it maybe went too far, and I do agree with you on that. But you have to agree that everyone was on the boat of if you don't have Ruination, you're rubbish. You have to have Ruination in your team. You have to have Ruination for events. You have to have Ruination for wars. You have to have Ruination. And that is never good for the game, where you have one thing that everyone needs to get, and that is it. It just lacks any kind of variety, and it lacks people chasing certain content. If you fast forward to now, then you've got 3 combiners, maybe 4, that are all really good for different reasons. And the fact that in my alliance chat we were talking about combiners and how effective they all are, I love Computron. I would not go to war with any other combiner. And we were talking about this, and people tried Computron, and a few were like, I don't see it. I don't like him. I like my Omega Supreme. Some other people were, oh, I use Volcanicus. He's amazing. I use Volcanicus. I wouldn't use anyone else. And it's great to have that variety of techniques and the way people use these combiners. And I think in terms of combiners, it's 10 times better than it was. You would use Volcanicus now more for events. Maybe you would use Computron for wars. And even in when I'm just getting some medals and getting some resources, I take different combiners all the time just to try them out and keep them fresh because they can all do a decent amount of damage. And I think that's good for the future of the game when more 5-star combiners come out. So I think in terms of combiners, I think Ruination still needs a bit more of a buff, but there's still people using a bit more still. So I don't know, it's better than what it was. But I think they've got as close as they can. It'll never be perfect. There's always going to be one thing that's not quite as good. There's always going to be one thing where they take a bit too far. But I think in terms of combiners, they've really hit the nail on the head. In terms of Titans, I think they're close. Most of the Titans are quite similar now. I wouldn't say one Titan is massively overshadowing the rest. I feel like they're all quite even in that sense. Is that good for the game? Maybe. I don't know. Does that make people chase new content? I don't know. It's a bit different than combiners because there's so many and people want the different combiners, whereas Titans only 3 and they're mainly used for wars, if I'm honest, because they're not available in events. So I understand Titans aren't the sort of same, but I feel like they've done well with Titans. My biggest problem really is with bots, and that is that Leo Prime was absolutely ridiculous on attack, and it was a case of you needed Leo Prime and no one else. That was it. If you had Beachcomber on defense, you were a top player. If you didn't have him, then yeah, you couldn't cope at the top, be on defense. Fast forward 8 months, we've now replaced Leo Prime with Rust Dust, Rustus is ridiculously overpowered, and all we've done is switch from one bot to another. It's not balanced everything out. Granted, I feel like a lot more bots are balanced. There's a lot more relevant bots, but I still feel like there's that one or two that people go to still because they're still overpowered. We're not quite there yet. We're still taking bots that bit too far and doing crazy amounts of damage. I think in the last patch, we've got close to it in terms of cost changes, but there's still bots that, even with a cost of 8, they're still doing stupid amounts of damage. There's still some bots that need to be balanced. And I feel like we're going to rewind back to the first batch where people are not happy and going to be complaining, saying that, oh, you're nerfing content again. But it's because they've gone too far with it like they did in the first instance. In terms of defense, we replaced Beachcomber with Cosmos. Cosmos is crazy now, overpowered. And there's not enough anti-hack techniques to cope with it. And so I feel like in terms of that, we're just replacing one thing for another. But with all these balance changes in terms of bots, all these balance changes in terms of combiners and titans and all these things, we've not had many balance changes in terms of defense. I don't know why we don't talk about defense more and have more balance changes for defense, where completely irrelevant cores are not buffed as part of the balance patch, and we bring some older cores back into the meta again. And I talk about things that are not used, like Death Pulse, for instance. No one uses Death Pulse unless you've only got Death Pulse and nothing else. Why? Because it's pretty rubbish. But could we actually buff Death Pulse to actually be relevant in some way? Could we start buffing defense cores as well? I think there's a lot more to be balanced than what they've started with. I think it can be a bit better balanced as well. And I think that, has the balance patch made the game better? I think so, on the overall, but I don't think it's done the strides that it should have done. I don't think we're anywhere close yet to getting a balanced game. I still think there's a long way to go. And the question is, how quickly can we do this? But we don't want to do it too quickly and then alienate some of the player base. So they're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. But I still feel like there's a long way to go. So what do you guys think? Who do you think needs a buff? Who do you think needs a nerf? What do you think needs to be the next big subject that they address? Is it defense cores? Is defense hard enough? And also people are struggling with the new effects? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think for the next balance patch. Having a look. Q Guesto has put he needs a 5-star warrior. 5-star warrior. Best patch for a 5-star warrior. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with pipes, really. Where am I looking now? I've gone blank. Set the current shard. There we go. Let's have a look. Warriors wise, nope, definitely not that batch. Definitely not that batch. Definitely not that one. I don't know. There's 2 in that batch, maybe. So maybe. I'm not looking for the best one. I'm looking where there's multiple ones. Yeah, it's not really warriors there, is it? Really, there's only 1 in there, so don't really like them 2 as warriors, really. So I'm not a big fan. Yeah, all special bots. All special and gunners and stuff. So not a true warrior. Oh, I don't know. That's not a. I don't know. Hound's not great, I suppose, at the minute. Dinobot isn't the best, if I'm honest. Yeah, we've only got 1 warrior in there, though, haven't you, really? We've only got 1 in there, so. You've obviously got Rook and Blot in there as warriors. None in there. No frontline warrior, so to speak. Tantrum's alright. It's not bad. Depends what level you're playing at, though. Not at top levels. RC we just spoke about. Yeah, none there. Legacy 2? No. Legacy 1. Razor Claw. I don't know. It depends on the batches, but I think if you go for pipes, then you won't be disappointed. But then I know that Beast Wars Ironhide will probably be in the next batch. So it depends on how good, obviously, the Punch is, how good Mirage is in terms of the next batch. So I don't know. I think Beast Wars Ironhide will be the best warrior in the game. So it depends on how desperate you are. If you're willing to wait for the next batch, which could be 3 or 4 months, I think you'll have a good batch. I think there's going to be some really good bots in there. I do. So I'd be inclined to wait for the next batch, really, if you really want a good warrior. Because if not, you're going for pipes and you've got a 1 in 5 chance. So yeah. But yeah, Pirates, Rook, and Marder Scavenger. Oh, Marder Scavenger, not so much. I'm not a big fan. And High and Hide, yeah. Yeah. Spend 0787s, but I use Ruin, Comptron, Volcanicus, and Omega Supreme. Exactly, that's what we need. That's what we want. RG's put House Raiden, Dino King as a 5-star now. I'll have to do a video on it another day, I think. I'm not really testing them much. I haven't got it. I didn't bother going for it. I do see it in War sometimes, but I don't think it's a big issue. So, yeah. What else? Miss Steele's put, why is it that sometimes when you're combining against the HQ, sometimes it has no effect on the HQ? Combiners are designed to do no damage against the HQ in elimination mode. But in terms of other ones, they can do damage still. In terms of in events and in terms of going for medals and stuff. But the shielding core obviously gains a 31% damage resistance. And 6% against ability damage, so it depends on what core you've got on as well. And obviously HQ 18 is so high in HP that it can be difficult. So it depends on the HQ as well. Big difference. Yeah, Spin all 787 has put Rustus is still crazy OP. Yeah, I agree. Dalton's put since Prime change for elimination mode, only do the mode for the 3 Cyber Pass tasks now. I don't even do that, I'm honest. Grind time records on Death Pool. She's put on 0 health. The nearest attacking bot dies. I think that's a bit harsh. Because I just put everything Death Pulse. And then all your bots die. Dalton's wants to slow down scouts. Yeah, maybe. The Wreckers put just bring out HQ 19 and you don't need to nerf anything. Yeah, but it's not as easy as that, is it really? Because I know people get this. People say like, well, why don't you just bring out HQ 19 and then you don't need to nerf anything because everything will do well. No. You'll only have a select few bots that can do anything. So if they brought out HQ 19 tomorrow, what bots will be able to cope with HQ 19? Rust Dust. That is it. Some warriors and healers, yeah, obviously because that's their job. But in terms of damage, SG Jetfire is no longer relevant. He needs a buff then, and then all of a sudden you're buffing bots anyway. So, and HQ 19 is not ready yet. So they can't just leave it. And don't forget, 8 months ago, HQ 19 wasn't even in development. We're still probably 8 months off HQ 19. And so there were 16 months off everyone complaining about the game. So there's no way they could have, brought out HQ 19. And even if they could, they'd have to start buffing bots. So it's not as easy as that, really. Stephen Gomez put, do you know when the 5-star Mirage that mentioned might be coming out? It'd be the next Legacy bot, so it'll probably be next Saga, I think. So you're talking around 8 weeks for that. Trax 80, welcome to the stream. They might do an event where you get Beast Wars Ironhide and Punch together. No, because there's an event for Punch in the newsletter. So, and Beast Wars Ironhide isn't in it, so I don't think that'll happen. What else? Tracks 80 Skyfire, Jetfire can handle HQ19. Yeah, but I think we've got a nerf. I really do. The amount of damage that bot does for the cost is ridiculous. And I'm leveling it right now, so I can use it, but I'm prepared for it to get a nerf. I really do. And the more that people start using it and the more that people realise, sadly, I think that'll be more the case. You know, sadly. Is Sky Striker that good? Yeah, sadly. I've been avoiding doing a video on it for a while. I know Trax has been shouting about it, but I've been trying to keep quiet about it. But yeah, he is really, and I didn't really want to try him because on paper to do that good, but as soon as his 5-star came out, I weren't happy with it on paper. But then when I actually tried it, I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. So it's sad, really, that something that good is not going to last. It just does crazy amount of damage. You know, you've always got to think how much damage they're doing for the cost. That's what you've got to think. And I always think that Jetfire is probably the pinnacle of jets, really. And he's doing 10k for 4. But then when you look at SG Jetfire, he's doing 16k for 5. So if he's doing 16k for 5, Jetfire needs a cost reduction, but it gets a bit silly, really. But I think 16k, or maybe a bit more, for 5 ability points is a lot. And then we look at Roadbuster. He does 13k for 6. So I think them two need something round, really. Because having a frontline bot is a lot more a risk than a jet that sits back. So I think, you're talking around 13 to 14k for 5 ability points, personally. 13 to 14k for 5 ability points. So when you look at, what's the actual count here? So we look at Sky Striker, who's doing 15k for 4 ability points. I think that might go up to 6. I think something like that. 6 ability points. Not too sure to take the damage out. But I think if they're gonna keep SG Jetfire as the amount, I don't know. Does he go up to 6 again? Does this go up to 7? If he does more than SG Jetfire, it's got to be more expensive than SG Jetfire. And here's the problem you've got. So let's just say SG Jetfire is the bar. So he does 16.2 for 5. 16.2 for 5, yeah? This guy does 4,310 times, 431 times 20, which is 4,310, times 2, 8,620, 14,000, 15,000. So if he does 15,000 and he's doing 16,000, then he's got to be at roughly the same cost as SG Jetfire. So if he's 5, then this guy needs to be 5 as well. Okay? 5. But then if we look at Roadbuster, so Roadbuster doesn't do as much. So his cost needs to be more than that, less than that. So automatically he has to be 4 ability points to be in line with that. So he needs a massive cost reduction to 4. Now if he's 4 at doing 13k, and then we look at Jetfire, and Jetfire's doing 10k, then he maybe needs to go down to 3 ability points, maybe 2 ability points. But then 2 ability points at lower levels just means you can just fly out and take out a defense, 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 take out a defense. That's too cheap. And so I think the cheapest that Jetfire could be is 3. The cheapest. And even then, I think that is too cheap. So you've got Jetfire being 3, which means Roadbuster needs to be 4 or 5. And so because it's 4 or 5, I feel like SG Jetfire needs to be maybe 6. And because he's 6, I feel like to get in line with that, Jetfire Sky Striker needs to be 6. I think that's more realistic. In Sky Striker going to 6 and Roadbuster going to 4. an SG Jetfire going back to 6, and Jetfire going to 3. That's personally how I would balance it. That's how I would do it. It's a shame, really, like I said, that SG Jetfire being Jetfire Sky Striker being the new bot in the batch as well will be the one to be fixed. Yeah. And Trax is putting cost of 4 plus 3 for Sky Striker. It's far too cheap. It's not the peak cost. It's the initial cost for that amount of damage. It is stupid. It really is. Sadly. I know no one likes their bots being nerfed or whatever, but you've got to be realistic with it. If a bot does X amount of damage, there needs to be some bot where you look at it and go, right, okay, that is, in terms of single damage, we agree that X amount of damage for X amount of points is realistic. And then you cadence everyone else for that. So if that person's doing more, but then they do have a higher cost. If that person's doing less, they have a lower cost. But you've also got to work it down and go, well, hang on a minute, because if we talked about that and we said like, oh well, let's just put Jetfire down to 2 ability points because it does 10k damage, then all of a sudden, then what do you do for bots that have 8k damage? Do you put them down to 1 ability point? Do you see what I'm getting at? You also got to think about lower levels of the game where people can then use that one bot just to take out a whole HQ because 1 ability point is far too cheap. You can't start getting down to 1 and 2 ability points for a jet. And so sadly it's got a cadence up. As sad as it is. You've got to be sort of realistic with it, really. You know, and I think 3 ability points is the lowest that Jetfire can go, I think. Because that leaves options for other bots that have got less damage, like Cybertron Jetfire, to be 2 ability points. That kind of makes sense. But yeah, I can see Sky Striker going to 6 ability points. I really do. I really do. Even with the bounce doing extra damage, you know, I really can. Yeah, Mattis, but robots are too expensive. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Tractor Support, I can see a cost increase for Sky Striker. Yeah, that's what they're doing nowadays. They're just changing costs, but I know that Rust does need a nerf. I'm set for that. I'm ready for that. I just hope they don't go too far with it. I really do. Um, Call sign, how's it going? Call sign Hendo, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Track support, the biggest problem the game has is percentage scaling of bot damage in different levels. However, if you want to punk lower level bases, it gets you low rewards. Yeah, but I still think Roadbuster doing 13k damage should be a lot cheaper than Sky Striker because he's a frontline bot and you should take that into consideration. And I talked about this a while ago. And I said how, in my mind, it works is you should go, right, okay, what is the amount of damage for ability points? Let's just make it so it's easy. Forget all the damage to do. Let's just say 10k is for 4 ability points. Let's just say that. Bang. So if a bot does 8k, it should go down to 3. Does 6k, it's down to 2. Maybe a bit cheap. 10k, 5 ability points. 8k, 4 ability points. 6k, 3 ability points. 4k, 2 ability points. You get the idea. But then what you do is you go, right, okay, so 5 ability points, 10k is there. Okay. Is it a gunner or jet? Yes. Bang, add a point on. Straight away. Because they sit back and attack from range, so there's benefit to that. Right? Are they a warrior? They stay there. Are they a special bot? They become a cost lower. Because they're more a risk. Dead simple. And that's, for me, that's how it sort of should work. Within reason. And then you give every bot within that, you sort of categorize them all and then give them all separate identities within that, whether it be electro, whether it be cryo, whether it be fire, things like that, different ranges. Then you can go, have they got a higher range? Have they got a long range? Yes. Bang, more expensive. You know, have they got a big area effect? Bang, yes, higher expensive. And literally, for me, that's how it should work. Literally, you sort of consider the bot, its range, where it sits within your team, all these sort of things, and then go from there, basically, to balance it all out. There's more to consider rather than a bot does this amount of damage. You know, you've also got to consider where it sits in the team, what its range is, because if you have a bot that does, and we saw this with Optimal Optimus. If you've got a bot that does 12, 14k damage, that's great. But if his range is awful, what's the point? You can't reach the defenses. Where if you've got a bot that, for example, great example of this, it's a good talking point, I like this, is Smokescreen. So Smokescreen only does 4k damage to buildings. I use Smokescreen though more than anyone in the game because over 3 shots for 9 ability points, I can take out any defense in the game pretty much. Because he's doing 12k damage. He's doing an incredible amount of damage from the other side of the map. So, well, it's not 12k damage, it's 8k, and then finish it off with 50% health. It's the execute, but you get what I'm saying. Because of his range. 3 ability points for 4k damage and execute is not that OP, but his range is OP. That's what makes him crazy good. And that's kind of why I say the range matters a lot. Because that's a proof there that 4k damage is not a lot, but from the other side of the map, it is a lot. You know? Whereas, if we talk about another bot I was talking about the other day, if we talk about Scattershot, does 7k damage, and people going, oh, well, I might put him in my team because it can help with the healing. But his range is pretty awful, so don't bother. 7k is going to do nothing. For 4 ability points, it's expensive. You know, 7k for 4 ability points with small range is awful. If he had the entire range of the map, he'll be my water in an instant. I would use him and Sunstreaker from the launch pad and take out half the top section. But because he doesn't have that range, he's pretty much useless. And so there's a balance between the two. And again, we talk about Rust Dust. So Rust Dust doing 9k damage is, I mean, it's more when you add in effects and things like that, Titan Tech Tree and stuff like that. It's not a crazy amount, but range is pretty good. But the area is crazy. And so you can put out to 7 ability points. It doesn't matter. She's getting 7 ability points back because she's destroying such a huge range. So again, the range effect matters as well. It's all of these things that matter. Grind time, just make every character 1+1. Let's go. Track support. A greedy Robuster is squishy for a frontline bot. 1 minute, 1 mine, he's ruined. He does more for me before I can use his ability. Yeah, I don't understand a bit last bit, but yeah, your point, yeah. You know, he is squishy, and that's why it should be cheaper, because it's a risk. You know, the more risk they are, the cheaper it should be. The less risk, the higher they should be. Pinky Math, I wanted to ask, what 5-star legacy should I get? Do you mean 5-star batch, you mean? Let me know what exactly you mean by that, by 5-star legacy. If you do mean 5-star batch, though, put it in the chat what kind of bot you're looking for. Because I said this earlier, it's very good me saying, oh, you want this batch because I like them bots. But if you want a damage dealer, and I'm suggesting the batch where Pipes is in, then maybe it's not the one for you. You want someone just high damage. Depends if you want it for events, whether you want it for wars, you need a frontline bot. If you want a healer, then don't go for batch, say 12, because there's no healers in 12, so why would you want 12? You get what I mean? Do a big event and make everyone 1+1, imagine. Do you think Afterburner should get buff or nerf, or do you think she's okay? Afterburner? No, I think maybe a cost increase. I think popping so many outposts for that cost, is it an Afterbreaker? I presume you mean Afterbreaker. I think it needs a buff in damage. I think damage is not enough. I think it needs a buff, but also a cost increase because of sack. So I'd make that 6 and give it a damage buff to make it more relevant for damage. Because right now, all she's for is sack because the damage is awful. It needs to be made more relevant in terms of the damage it does to be used for things other than sack, really. So yeah. Yeah, Dark Answers put Scatter Shot should have been triple changer. I agree. Smoke should be 5+0. I don't know about 5+0 because then you're using 10 ability points to take out a build bot. I think that his execute needs to be reduced down. I I think the execute needs to be reduced down to 40% and go from there. I think 50 is too much. That's the problem. I've no problem with smokies being taken out for build bots. You know, I get that. It's when I can take out defenses from the other side of the map as well. That's the problem. But then again, 9 ability points, 1 defense is expensive. I presume that, I suppose, like, the problem is on backloaded bases, then yes, he is stupidly OP. But on front-loaded bases, I use him for build bots and I don't use him. So is it a case of it just suits base design? I don't know. I'm not just saying that because, I use him and, I should know what I'm like by now. I'm all for balancing it. And I think the execute is the problem. I don't think build bots are the problem. He's a build bot killer. And that's set in stone, really. I think that's why I think he's good at what he does. But it's that execute, I think. Pinky Math, I'm looking for a heavy hitter. Then you can't go wrong with Rust Dust. I will just go all out for Rust Dust right now. But then again, obviously, she might get nerfed, maybe. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with this batch, really. I mean, you've got Wild Rider and you've got Predacon Inferno in that batch in terms of damage dealers. So they're really good. Not really. Some decent damage dealers in there. Depends if you want spam bots or not, or actual just normal damage. Some decent damage dealers in there as well. They're not too bad. If you're looking for damage, then Trigger Happy, SG Thundercracker, they're both really good bots in that batch as well. For the Autobots, that's SG Jetfire and Sitz Gun, so the best damage dealers in the game. I suppose you've got a good AoE bot in Guy Hawk, a good one of the best warriors in the game. So if you don't get that, you've got this, and I think that's a really good batch, especially with damage dealers, because these are still good damage dealers different ways. So Slash, that's Sky Rain, that's Red Alert, that is Brainstorm, and that is Pipe. So still one of the best batches in the game. Number 9 and number 8 for damage as well. I mean, I'm going to presume you're a sort of mid-tier player, really. Sorry if I'm wrong. But these are good bots for mid-tier as well. Score's more for defense, really. But yeah. And Legacy 7's really good for damage as well. For mid-tier players, really good. So, yeah, I'd look at somewhere between 7 to 10, I'd say. Depending on what exactly you maybe need. But like I said, right now, in this moment, you can't go wrong with going for Rust Dust, aka Scavenger. I think, yeah, Tantrum's an okay, bot. Reflector, aka First Aid's good. Octone and Sandstorm's decent, so maybe even 6. So I think between 6 and 10, you can't be disappointed in terms of getting damage out. I think there's more than one option. So yeah. Tracks, I think Smokey will balance with HQ19. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Good point. That's a good point. Yeah, if he can't execute defense anymore, then yeah, but then we'll talk about that in a minute anyway. Taz is a good hitter. Yeah, he is, yeah. Grind time, just get all the 5 stars and you'll be fine. Oh, and max them all out. Oh yeah, just that easy. Just like that, yeah. That easy, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go on to HQ19. So I did a video on this a while back, looking at HQ19, what to expect, and I think a lot of it was a bit of common sense, really, around HP of buildings and around, obviously, wall HP increasing, and I was a bit worried about wall HP. And how that will affect pathing. There's a couple of things that I still think are coming, and I've got a couple of things from Dale that will happen, that we can count on, and a couple of things that I think. So we'll look at the things that I think might happen. But again, it comes from a sensible place. So I do think we'll have an extra MDS slot for this reason alone. That this used to be 3 in the middle of the page, and all of a sudden, come midway through HQ 18, it changed to this screen where there was an empty slot on the right. And if you remember, we had the same with Titans, and I said there's a 3rd Titan coming, and we had a 3rd Titan coming. So I really do think we'll have an extra MDS slot. That's not been confirmed, but I really do. I think along with HQ19, we'll have the next Alpha Triangle. It's been long overdue. People have been asking for it so much. And I still don't think they've got the tech to make it do something around points. But when they did release it in test, I wasn't happy with it, but they said it would increase range. And so I'm at a point now where I'm thinking, you know what? If they bring Alpha Trion out and increase range, fair enough. Let's just do that. Let's just get it out in the game. So I think with HQ19 we'll see Alpha Trion Core. It might not work as we think it should, but at least it'll be in the game and it'll be then solved, done, finished with, and we can move on and stop going on about HQ. We can stop going on about Alpha Trion Core and completing the Prime Cores. As I said, we'll see an increase in HP levels for all defenses. We'll see an increase in DPS for all defenses. What can we guess that'll be? I think for HQ 18, it's around 15-20% increase in HP for most defenses. And I think wall HP didn't increase too much because they were worried about how walls would affect the game. But I think that the problem with that was because they reduced them not a lot, it meant that more bots could go through walls like butter, and walls become less relevant. So I think that we'll see a bit more of an increase in HP to walls to make them a bit more relevant. We'll obviously see an increase in the HQ HP as well, which would be interesting to see how that affects in events and stuff like that. Will they increase the amount of shielding it gets? I don't know. I hope not. It's gotten to a point where they can be really hard to take down. So that's going to be interesting. So we've got Titans. I think we'll see Titans go up to level 30 to be able to deal with HQ19 defenses and last a bit longer. Will that affect battles? I think so, because that might mean that even they put the timer up to 4 minutes per battle, I think the Titans will last even longer again. And so there'll be a status quo of Titans still lasting most of the battle. And I think with them looking at all the combiners and trying to get them up to 5-star versions, the question is then, what do we do with Combiner Spark? And I think we'll see most combiners go up to level 30 as well. As we saw when combiners went from level 20 to level 25 and they got extra levels. So I think we'll see a combiner increase from 25 up to 30 as well. Now, what are the things that have been confirmed? So the team have confirmed that bots will go past level 70. Level 71 and further will unlock. They haven't said whether that be level 75, whether it be level 80. I think level 75, but we'll have to wait and see. But level 70 bots will be unlocked up to level 75. They've also confirmed that there will be a new defense. Now that defense did go into testing for a while, but it had mixed reviews. Some people were happy with it, some weren't. There was discussion about its utility and how it would work in the game, and some people liked it, some people didn't, and so it kind of got shelved. So the big question is, some of us know what our defense is, but we don't want to talk about it in case it never happens. So I think the big question is, will it be that defense, or will it be a new defense completely? That's the question that I think we're going to ask, which we'll see obviously when HQ19 goes into testing. We can talk a bit more about it, but for now, it might be the shelved defense. It might be something completely different. It's been confirmed as well from Dale that there will be some new cores coming out for HQ19. And I've been saying for quite a while, if you don't need it, save it. And I've been saying to Dale, I've been pestering him saying, listen, can we please have some sort of use for crystals? And so it will be good news that for HQ19 we'll have a good use for crystals, because everyone is overflowing right now. And I feel like we need a influx of new cores, not just a few. And I feel like the testing grounds on the Christmas tree challenge battle was a test for some new cores, maybe. And I don't think there's been much discussion going, oh, we're going to bring these out, go and put them in. It was Dale just playing around with it, but got some good feedback. And so might be going, okay, well, we can maybe put these in the game, actually. Which ones are decent? Which ones are viable? And we might need to see some new Buildbot cores, whether that means there's going to be absolutely washed out with Buildbot cores and gets a bit stupid. I don't know. But I feel like there's an avenue there for some new cores. But something Dale did say was that they're going to look at prime cores. Now, whether that is on the release of HQ19, he doesn't know. But they're going to try and look at prime cores because it's pretty obvious that some prime cores are very, very good. And some prime cores, not so much. So in terms of defensive prime cores, you got Megatronus, you got the Age Maximo, you got Micronus, maybe Primer are all very, very good cores, maybe even Nexus. Onyx, I could take out my team tomorrow, I don't think you'd notice. Same with Solus, same with Alchemist maybe, same with Amalgamous maybe. They don't have a big impact. It's not a core that you look at when you're attacking and go, I need to get rid of that. I think that personally, if they're all well balanced, I feel like then we'll have a choice on what to get rid of. And again, because of that, I feel like people's attack techniques will change depending on their team layout, and that's what I sort of like about that. That if they're all well balanced at prime cores, then it kind of means that they'll be a bit more relevant. But that doesn't just mean in terms of defense prime cores. It also means that the attack prime cores will probably be balanced as well. So on defense, Vector's really good. On attack, maybe not so much. Amalgamous is a lot better on attack, not so good on defense. And you find that some of these that are good on attack are not as good on defense. Some on defense are amazing on attack. I think a good example of that is Vector. The Vector on defense is amazing because the defense goes back to life again. But on attack, I don't know. Is it just a sack bot? I don't know. Maybe. Megatronus on defense is a must-have. Unbelievable. On attack, yeah, it's okay. It's not too bad. So I'm looking forward to some buffs to defense prime cores. Looking forward to some buffs to attack prime cores as well. In terms of, I've lost my third now. I lost my third. What I was up to. Something else I want to talk about. I'm not putting down my notes on something else I want to talk about, but anyway. We did talk earlier about some other cores as well. We talked about some universal building cores needing a buff, especially the attack and the death pulse cores and the armor cores. Some of the original cores in the game that are completely relevant to the point where they kind of just become fodder for everything else. So I think we could do with a buff for them. That's been confirmed. The prime cores buffs has been confirmed as something they're looking into, but not 100% guaranteed. But some new cores and looking at old cores and balancing them could come into the play as well. This has not been confirmed, but I would like to think as well that HQ19 will come out in stages like HQ18 did. I don't think they'll bring out every new defense, every new core, all in one go. I think that doing that will be pretty suicidal for the game. I think that people get frustrated and quit because it's almost impossible. So I think we'll see certain defenses selected. And personally, I wouldn't like to see the MDS. I think the MDS is hard enough to kill as it is. I would like it to be some of the defenses that we don't see as threats as much. So I would like to see it as maybe launchers, mortars, turrets, cannons, those sort of defenses, shock towers where they're not considered a big threat, And obviously, with a HU19 upgrade, there'll definitely be more of a threat. And will that mean a change of people putting cores on different defenses rather than sticking them on the MDS because they are the highest HP? Maybe a change in tactic. So I'm excited for that as well. But let me know what you guys are expecting for HU19. How do you see it playing out? How would you like it to go? Have you got any good ideas for new cores? How would you think they're going to go about introducing these new cores into the game? Are they going to let us open them in crystals? Or are they going to pull a fast one and say, oh yeah, they're going to be available other ways other than in crystals we already have in the space bridge? Or is it simply just a good way for us to use the crystals that we've mounted up and get the economy back to where it needs to be, where people are not overridden with resources and we're actually using these resources as part of HQ19? Let me know in the comments. Are you excited for HQ19? Are you dreading it? Let me know. Contact. Oh no, my box won't max anymore. It'll take you a week. You'll be fine. Research lab upgrade. I'm not too sure. It's not been confirmed. I don't know. Mark Cooper, give Alpha Trion ability block for a few seconds. What do you mean block? Keep it around the same idea as the attack core. Block. Well, the attack core obviously gives you points. So what do you mean by block? You mean block points? I don't know what you mean. Rough Seas Skillful Sailor. Welcome to the stream. It's always hard when it's a long name and it's all without spaces, but I get YouTube. Michael Cooper, if it's that stupid defense that draws troops in, I'm done with this game. I'm saying nothing. Volcanicus, any news on Prime Core chip usage for things beyond cores? No, nothing around that. I've literally just told everything that I know as confirmed, so I don't know. Big Blade put sideways, quite an unexpected but not unwelcome surprise. I always was a big fan of the guy. I've never heard of him before today, so or yesterday even. So I don't know. I'm not really happy about it, but I'm not disappointed. But as always, I'm more interested in what the bot's going to do. Is it decent? So we'll see. Down to Sport HQ, Bill Bots, walls, shock towers, cannons on first round. What I think maybe. Lucas, do you think we'll get power core levels increased like combiners and titans? No, I don't think so. Because, for example, if certain bot gives you 20% of your DPS and the defense increases in DPS, the core will naturally do more. So I don't think so, but don't quote me on it. Granted, but I'm excitedly dreading HU19. I like anything that's fresh and new, so we'll see. Blade 19, definitely not looking forward to walls. You mean upgrading them, or you mean just generally? Yeah, I'm dreading upgrading them, but then again, I think I've got enough in inventory. I mean, yeah, I think I've got enough in inventory, don't you? Should be alright. I say that the amount they need is ridiculous. I mean, last time I can't remember what did they need last time. Was it like 16 million per wall? So if that's the case, 16 million per wall, then I've got how much worth? 16. Yeah, I've got 800 worth. So yeah, I'm alright. No, that's 8. No, 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 no. So I've got, hang on, so 16 million. So divide that by 32. I've got enough for 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, I should have enough for my walls, just about. I should get rid of all my alloy, but I should have just enough for my walls, I think, to max them all out. But I've got none for defenses, so maybe, maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. Stephen Gomez put, no way they will put the new cores in our save crystals right away. I don't see why not. Maybe you should pull them. Otherwise, it's going to be sat there, aren't they? Darklands, Buildbot core shield against high speed bullets. Anything that hits from deployment pad. I think that's hard to program though, it from the launch pad, I think. I don't know. Matty's put, please no new resources required for HU19. Can't face more resources. No, I agree with you. It gets a bit silly, so I think that personally, I would keep it as Zen, but obviously increase it. And I think that I think there's a bit of a troll about this, but I would start bringing out Zen XP cores. I really would, and Zen cores. So not just G metal cores, bring out Zen cores, where you buy them with Zen and you upgrade them with whatever cores again, but it's a new level cores. So you got silver, gold, G metal. Personally, I'd bring out Zen cores. I don't mind it. Yeah, Dark support. The biggest issue will be the Z energy needed for HQ19. Yeah, as soon as they announce HQ19 is coming, I'm going to max out my Zen in a couple of weeks. Definitely. 100k each was for HQ18. Yeah, so you can expect 150, 200k for each, I think. For each defense, the amount of defenses you've got, you're talking a lot. Andrew Stevenson's put Shanix. If you're referring to using Shanix to upgrade your G Metal, your Zen, then yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I might actually use my G Metal, might actually use my Shanix for a change, rather than it just sitting there. So I can buy a lot of Zen with that. 600,000 for 9,000. Yeah, 20 of that, 6 mil, 12 mil Zen. I can probably get from that. Is that right? 10,000 times 10 times 20, 20 of those. It's got 25. 6 mil, 12 mil, about 15 mil Zen I can get from that. Yeah, 15 mil Zen, and that's 3 mil. So yeah, should be alright. Darklands, you do go about this every week. 25 new currencies of primes. Just really hit you hard that on it. It's really caused a bee in your bonnet. Grand time, my Zen stays nearly maxed. Yeah, all the time I use it is when I'm putting bots to 11. That's about it really. Why is Metroplex Spark in the Shanix store and not the other Titans? Good question. I think more because he was the first Titan, but I think over time it will. I think we'll hopefully see Fort Max Spark soon, but not Arc because Arc's the new 5-star. I think I'll leave it for a while, and that's sort of again. I like that word cadence. The cadence of Spark going in there along with the Titans as like a a catch up mechanic. Yodo has never answered why Titan Spark shows for some and not others. What do you mean? In the Shanix store, you mean? What do you mean? I thought it was the same for everyone. Don't know. You guys tell me. I've got it in my store, but I don't know. It's the first I've heard. First I've heard. I don't know. It's not in your store. That's interesting. Didn't know that before. Titan Spark is not used to rank up. What? Well, level. I mean, to rank it up. Well, no. Well, no, but what do you mean there? Titan Spark has never shown for me. Is yours max though? If yours is max, it makes no sense, does it? It kind of makes sense that it'll disappear from the store because you don't need it anymore. If that makes sense, kind of. I imagine that's why. I imagine that if you've maxed out your Titan, yeah. Let's wait and see. Listen, I'm going to plan on maxing mine out, I think, and then we'll go from there. We will see. Anyone got anything else before we call it a night, guys? Let me know in the chat. I think Freeze will be streaming after me in about half an hour, 40 minutes. So go and check him out, guys. Go and join the stream as well. All 3 max, even when leveling up, wasn't there? Right, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Good to know. I will pass it on though. I will message Dale and ask him to look into it. Because that's a bit weird. What is the max Titan Spark? I don't even know. Does it show us? Have a look. 1.5 mil says there for me. So I presume it's 1.5 mil. Will there be any additions to the TTT? TTT? Titan Tech Tree. Titan Tech Tree. You know how I feel about it. I mean, I hate it. I think the Titan Trek, the Titan Tech Tree needs to show in bots when you can see what they can do, because the Titan Tech Tree doesn't work in playtest, and so when they come to the game, it's totally different in terms of how it's balanced. So it doesn't work in that sense that you can't put it in playtest and balance it and then go, yeah, it's all right, and then it not be when it comes into the game because it's totally different. So that's a big one for me. That needs to, you know, be shown in the tooltips of the thing, along with ranks. Ranks need to show in the bot's tooltip that it does more damage. Again, we looked at Rustos earlier, and a prime example is all the Titan perks that give her more damage and her ranks, and you don't even see that in the tooltip, and she looks quite balanced, but she's not. And yeah, it is one of the worst things to come to the game. I would like it where you can take points out and put them in to change things and it go live. But that's not the way they saw it. All it did was it just increased bots and defenses, gave them some quirky additions, and just made it harder to understand what defenses are doing, what defenses HP is, what bot abilities do what, and whether they can take out X, and just completely muddled the water. And Darklands agrees with me that this is the worst addition ever to this game was Titan Tech Tree. It was a total waste of time developing it. I know I don't like Titans, I don't mind them as much, but the Titan Tech Tree I think was a disaster. I think if we're looking back throughout the game on worst additions to the game, I think Titan Tech Tree, well, for me, is the number one. It is. It really is. Go on, I've got some more. I bet you have. Trax has put Titan Tech Tree. You shouldn't be able to max everything out. What's the point of options if you can just max out everything? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, hack immunity, shock towers. Yeah, I didn't mind that, but it should be at a cost of something else. So you go, right, I'm gonna give my thingy, my I'm gonna give my shock towers, hack immunity, but that should be maybe 5 points, maybe. But that means that I've got to sacrifice something else. I don't mind that one bit. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, rather than Titan Tech Tree, should have just brought out another HQ level because that's all it's pretty much done. Really, it's it wasn't and there you go. Funny enough, it wasn't something optional. It's something you had to max out and then was done, which I think was a shame. If they made it optional, where they didn't give enough points to max everything out, and you could add them in and take them out again, I feel like we'd still be using it now, and I will be doing videos on the best setups for Titan Tech Trees and what to use in certain situations. Would add a different dynamic to the game, but we're not. It's been done. We ignore it. We leave it where it is. Firepower's port. I think it's fun to unlock stuff in the tech tree. I just got to the final row of upgrades. Yeah, I get that when you're in the middle of it, but once it's done, what then? You'll never touch it ever again. You have to think most top players finished Titan Tech Tree, what, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and I've never even thought about it since. It's like the shock towers are immune to hack. I just understand now, not because of the Titan Tech Tree, but I just understand that shock towers can't be hacked. They could have just, instead of doing the Titan Tech Tree, they could have just brought out a rule that shock towers can't be hacked and would have the same effect. I don't know. How much of a meltdown would it cause if they removed the Titan Tech Tree? Oh, quite a bit. Because all of a sudden, defenses wouldn't do what they could before, attacking bots wouldn't do what they did before. It would cause an absolute mess. But they could reset everyone's points on a certain day and go, right, okay, everyone had. What they could do is, easily, what they could do is what I would do. So let's just say it's all at level 5 now. I would bring out level 10. And if we needed 400 points to complete it. We needed 400 points to get everything to level 10. I would give everyone 250 points and go, right, you're only going to get 250 points. You can't max out everything. You've got to choose what to max out. But what we are going to do is make it so you can reduce pots, take points out and put them elsewhere. You can change them all over. It's your choice. I would look at the programming to be able to take points out and put them in. That's what I'd look at first. Once I've done that, then I would just bring out more levels and go, right, okay, you're not going to get as many points to max it out. That's what I'd do. Alright, for your information, when you lean back in the chair, your voice changed on the mic. Yeah, the person was further away. Sorry. I was having a bit of a chill. Maybe I should get the foot thing out. And then, sort of lean back like that. And go, Darklands, yeah, that would make things interesting. Yeah, I think so. I think. But then how would you know? You'd have to go to a base and look at it really carefully and understand what defenses I've got, what. We could just easily put like an emblem on them, or something. I don't know. It'd be quite difficult in terms of scouting bases, and you would have to understand what my tech tree level is on my bots, whatever, and what influences they're getting, because you could look at me in war and go, oh, right, okay, Wozza doing that, but your bot won't do the same because your tech tree is different. So I understand that a bit, but, yeah. Story time with Uncle Wozza. I do like a good story though. Don't forget your Earl Grey tea. Honestly, nothing. I'd say nothing worse, but Titan Tech Tree is worse than Earl tea. So yeah, Tech Tree is definitely more worse for a fact. There's something worse than Earl Grey. Honestly, in my entire life, I have tried Earl Grey once. People have this misconception that English people drink Earl Grey. We don't drink Earl Grey tea. Hardly anyone does. I've tried it once in my entire life. Now, if you ask me how many cups of tea, like English tea or breakfast tea, whatever you Americans call it, if you ask me how many cups of American tea, breakfast tea I've had in my life, millions, millions, definitely, but not Earl Grey. Big Blaze put they want us to constantly attend the tech tree in the next HQ level. No, 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 no. That's not confirmed. It's not confirmed. Just putting it out there, guys. I'm just spitballing here what I would like. There's a big difference between what is coming to the game. And like I said, there's going to be new cores, buff to prime cores, possibly, a new defense, new levels, new HP and DPS for defenses, and new bot levels. That's been confirmed. The rest, everything else I've mentioned is just me spitballing. Remember that. But it comes from a place of past HQs, what's happened, and, little sneak peeks of stuff that I can sort of see, and things like the MDS thing, like why they've changed that, why they're in the middle and also to the side to make room for something else. So, you know. Would make the troll and Cybertron chat shut up about wars being easy if you have to figure out tech tree setup. Maybe, but it is. I think it's still too easy, but a lot of people find it hard still. So, um, Big Blades put good. By the way, I just returned to the stream, experienced a power outage. I will welcome back. Darklands. I know his name. I'm not going to mention it, but I know his name. I know what you mean. Listen, there's only one. If you talk about a troll in Cybertron chat, and any chat, we know who it is straight away. He's the biggest troll in the game. And then as soon as you say you always complained about easy wars, then I kind of agree with that. I do agree. I know he does troll a lot. I get it, and he rubs people the wrong way. But he does talk some sense in the middle of all that. You've got to remove the 80% troll out of it and keep the 20% of what he's talking about. And he's a young lad, so you've got to translate that into what he's actually trying to say, and he's kind of right in a lot of respects. Just the way he goes about it is not right, I suppose. Cool. Well, that is it for this week's stream, guys. I appreciate everyone for tuning in as always. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to get a like on the stream. Don't forget that If you subscribe, it is free, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. Try and get to 10k subs. It's a big aim of mine. It's been for a good while now, since I got past 5k. So let's have a big push and try and get to 10k subs. So if you like the channel, if you like the stream, if you like my videos, hit subscribe, guys. Don't forget. And if you really like my content and you want to support me, then don't forget you can become a member. It's only as little as $2 a month if you like. There should be a premium member. I've got something maybe in the works for that, but we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I love these streams. It's my favorite part of the game, is coming in and streaming every Thursday. Big thank you to everyone joining in. See you next week, guys, and peace out.